What was your favorite memory of your first relationship? The first time she said I love you. It was the first time anyone said that to me outside of my parents. I think that feeling will be burned in me forever. First handjob. I'm a bit of a romantic dot. Getting married. When she kissed me for the first time, outside of the school, in front of everyone, while we were waiting for the morning bell to ring. First relationship? That was in 4th grade, and in gym class we kissed under the parachute. First I'm going to marry this woman relationship was taking her virginity. She had set up how she wanted it to be, and when she said she wanted to, all her wishes weren't there. She still said she wanted to. It was sort of magical. This was back in 1995, but the first time I was over at her house. She showed me her room and I was instantly like, there are Star Wars books. She's long gone, but I got a whole set. How shameless we were with our public affection. Hanging out in the back of my parents' van at a soccer tournament. I had a job as a paper delivery guy, needed someone to cover a weekend for me. She was the one who did it for me. I went to her house to give her the payment and we hit it off. We dated for a few years till she moved away. I heard she died from cancer 15 years ago. She was married and had 2 kids, but I will always remember her. I think about her periodically and wonder what could have been. I haven't had a relationship yet. When he gave me a coloring book page that was poorly colored and said I love you, and my mom found it in my book bag and put it on the fridge, I was pissed. My first kiss, it's so special and I hope everyone experiences it. Holding her hand for the first time? Receiving a letter from her telling me I had helped her to love again? Unashamedly making out on her door? So many of them. Not my first relationship, but my first big love. I have this distinct memory of driving down the highway on the 4th of July and seeing the city's fireworks display overhead. We were 19 years old and had been dating for less than a year at that point. It was such an amazing night. Think it's the moment when I realized I was absolutely in love with that man. It's been almost 20 years since that day, and it's seared into my brain. If I think about it hard enough, I can almost remember what my hand felt like in his on that night. We broke up after 6 years together. He's still one of my favorite people. He's a good man. How carefree and naive I actually was. 66-year-old grandma here. A bunch of us high schoolers were walking around town. We passed a donut shop and Mike asked if I wanted a donut. We went in, sat at the counter on stools, and got donuts. He paid for my donut. It was 10 cents. He probably had 40 cents or so in his pocket just in case something like this should come up. I was so flattered and touched. Note, he was also my first slow dance. Hey Jude. Long song. You youngins must be scratching your heads. Breaking up. I went to school early so I could walk her to school from her place. My first girlfriend and I were 17 years old. We were at a summer camp. My father came to visit us and accidentally gave my counselors our moonshine. By the end of the evening, my father asked for help packing his things and sending him home. My girlfriend said that he would wait for me naked in our house. While I was helping my father get ready to go home, they poured me a glass of moonshine every time I approached them. The senior counselor Sergei Mikhailovich vomited and fell into the bushes near the campfire, and the young one Ilya Alexandrovich went with me to see my father off. My father went home, and Ilya climbed onto the car of our physical education teacher, a bearded Caucasian with a bad temper, turned on Rammstein and started jumping on the roof of the car. I tried to pull him off, but he suddenly turned on Bob Marley and lay down on the hood, took out a joint, took a drag, and handed it to me with the words, lie down next to me and don't fuck your brain. We came back to the camp after 3 hours. I drunk, stoned, rumpled, and my girlfriend was still waiting for me naked and watching YouTube. That day for the first time I realized the greatness of German industrial rock, smoked a joint and fucked. When he told me he was in love with me,